This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Moments ago, a federal vote to protect access to birth control pills and other forms of contraception failed on the U.S. Senate floor. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. The national debate over access to birth control comes in an election year. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, has instant reaction after that vote fell short. Mark?
And America is watching the Supreme Court also to see how it might rule on the popular mail-order abortion pill mifepristone later this year. This proposal promised national protections for birth control and would guarantee you can mail those pills across state lines without red states interfering. Republicans railed against that Democratic proposal, calling it an election year campaign stunt to drum up support for President Biden. But one Republican senator did acknowledge the proposal might have also impacted abortion pills or maybe Planned Parenthood staff who sometimes refer patients on how to get access to that birth control. The proposal specifically mentioned Missouri, too, for, quote, infringing on people's ability to access their contraceptive care by violating the free choice provider requirement under the Medicaid program. Senator Tammy Duckworth joined other Democrats at a press conference to promote this plan before debate kicked off on the floor of the Senate.
It would codify every American's right to access birth control, no matter their zip code, and prohibit any state from enacting laws that would infringe upon that right. Because the freedom to decide if, when, and how someone becomes a parent should belong to Americans, not Republicans.
And in Missouri, Senator Josh Hawley voted against the Right to Contraception Act. His office has not yet explained why. His Democratic challenger, Lucas Kunz, said the vote demonstrates Hawley's, quote, total obsession with controlling every single part of our lives, including what women do with their bodies and how Missourians build their families.
Mark, thanks. All right, now to our Weather First forecast. We had some showers earlier, but many areas are clearing out.
That is good news. Let's check in with meteorologist Jim Castillo. Hey, Jim.
Hi, guys. Look at this. Beautiful. So finally clear, and then that drier air is trying to work its way in here. Dew points are starting to go down. Still really muggy east of St. Louis, and a few showers just now exiting Clay County and also Perry County in Missouri. Zooming in a little bit, you can see them pushing on to the east. So the rain's over with for a couple of days in that front just to the east of St. Louis. Now high pressure is going to bring in that much drier air for a couple of days. Less humid out there, more comfortable. And we're at 84 right now. Still, that dew point is 64, but it was 70. And we had that rain this morning, about a tenth of an inch of rain around St. Louis. But those dew points from Columbia all the way back to Sedalia and Kansas City in the 50s. And that's what's headed our way as we get into Thursday and Friday. It'll be really nice. Our next chance of rain, well, it does look like part of the weekend. I'll time this out coming up in just a few minutes.
An East Alton, Illinois man was recently sentenced to 29 years in prison for trying to have his ex-girlfriend killed. Tonight, in an exclusive interview, we're hearing from the victim for the first time.
5 on your side's Megan Kernan sat down with the woman to hear her story of survival.
Kelly, Kiwana Carruthers shares her personal experience in the murder-for-hire plot against her in 2023, orchestrated by her ex-boyfriend of 8 years, Lorenzo Miller. Carruthers says Miller started harassing her and became possessive and jealous after breaking up with him months before he directed his friend to murder her. The East Alton man, Lorenzo Miller, was found guilty of solicitation of murder and obstructing justice. Miller is accused of asking his friend Vernon McIntosh of St. Louis to murder Carruthers at her home in Alton. On March 26, 2023, officials say McIntosh fired 5 shots through Carruthers' living room. The bullets missed Carruthers, but one went through a sweater of a close friend, Erica Johnson, lightly grazing her torso. Then 3 days later, Carruthers' van was set on fire. She says she feared somebody was trying to lure her outside to kill her. Alton police determined that McIntosh's car was near her home during both attempted murder incidents. Carruthers says after escaping death caused by someone she spent almost a decade with, she's come out stronger and grateful to be alive.
There's no feeling like knowing that your death could be inches away. There's no feeling like running for your life, especially after you provide and protect someone, you know, from your own instincts, and then you turn around and that very person is willing to take your own life away from you.
Carruthers says during Miller's trial, there was no remorse shown by him. She says he had a look of he didn't care. Vernon McIntosh's trial is tentatively set for July 8th. Carruthers will be attending, and tonight at 6, Carruthers shares the importance of recognizing red flags and taking action before it's too late. Kelly.
Thanks, Megan. Well, tonight, St. Louis police are looking for the person who killed one person and injured another. The shooting happened around 1:30 this morning near Interstate 70 and Madison Street in North City. The victims were taken to the hospital. A 19-year-old man died. A woman was grazed by a bullet. If you have any information, you're asked to call police. Right now, a bicyclist is recovering in the hospital days after he was forced to jump off his bike and over a bridge on the highway.
It happened last week on Highway 19 near Herman as the cyclist was heading back from the Katy Trail. Our Justina Coronel just returned from visiting with the victim in the hospital, and she's here in studio with his story. Justina?
Jeremiah Koch has been at University Hospital in Columbia for nearly a week now. He fell more than 20 feet to the ground below and broke his back, knee, ankle, and several ribs. After Koch jumped at 8 p.m. last Wednesday night, the martial arts instructor waited 13 hours for help. He first started yelling for help, but stopped during the night when he heard coyotes getting close. Later, he heard two people stop on the bridge, only to steal his bike, leaving without checking to see if anyone needed help. He spent 2 hours dragging himself 20 feet to a puddle so he could drink from it. Finally, the next morning, his calls for help were heard by two pedestrians who were able to call 911.
And I just light up, man. I mean, it's just everything I had, just screaming, screaming, screaming. And the guy, I'll never forget, he just pokes his head over the side and he goes, "Hey, man, need some help?" And I'm like, yes, I do. Call 911.
Koch was finally able to walk with assistance on Monday, and he's still waiting to have surgery on his ankle and possibly his knee. Meanwhile, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is still looking for the gray SUV driver. They're asking anyone who has information to give them a call.
Remediation is now complete along an area of Coldwater Creek contaminated with radioactive waste. The cleanup was on Jana Drive in Florissant. That's near Jana Elementary School, which shut down in 2022 because of contamination concerns. Radioactive material from the first atomic bomb was dumped in the area decades ago. The Army Corps of Engineers says the contaminated soil is now gone and has been replaced by uncontaminated soil.
BJC Healthcare has opened the first rural emergency hospital in the state of Missouri. Parkland Health Center is a hospital in Bonne Terre. It is open 24/7 and can offer all types of services, including primary care. A rural emergency hospital is a new type of provider. It was established by the federal government in 2021 and in Missouri just last year. The main purpose is to offer access to a community that otherwise wouldn't have it.
When you think about the population in a rural community, often transportation is a problem. So the thought of how do we get someone elsewhere to be able to get services is definitely a challenge. So that's one of the critical things it's recognizing about the importance of rural healthcare. And really a rural healthcare provider is ready for anything.
People experiencing chest pain, a stroke, or any other kind of trauma can get treatment. The hospital also offers CT scans, x-rays, and ultrasounds. Prosecutors and the defense make their case in the Hunter Biden trial. One of his exes had to stay on the stand today.
Boeing takes to the skies, but we're not talking about airplanes. How its rocket launch is making history in more ways than one.
President Biden is spending the next few days in France. More on how he and World War II veterans are commemorating D-Day.
Summer's here, and that means it's time to slather on the sunscreen. But with so many options on the shelves, how do you know what's right for your family? Maybe you have sensitive skin or a darker complexion. And how strong of an SPF do we all really need? We're going to have all the answers for you tomorrow on Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m.